What celebrities do you compare yourselves to? Do you look up to?
Kardashians.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Kardashians.
Oh, why would you say that?
Hey, what's up you guys? It's me, Luke, and welcome back to another video, or if you're new here, welcome to my channel. So in today's video, I want to talk about a really taboo topic that has been around for years, but with the introduction of social media like Instagram has rapidly begun to grow. That issue being people photoshopping or now face tuning their photos and how it affects the individual and others and the trend itself. So for the longest time, celebrities have been accused of having their photos photoshopped in magazines or advertisements or their own posts. But now with the introduction of Facetune, it's no longer necessary to use complex programs like Adobe Photoshop. Now anyone can Photoshop their photos within a matter of minutes straight from their phone. I find it really interesting that for the longest time, photoshopping was such a taboo topic that celebrities tried so hard to hide and tabloids tried so hard to find. And while it still is to a certain extent, it's almost become normal or acceptable now for people to Photoshop or Facetune their photos. Many influencers such as James Charles are open about how they Facetune their photos and say that they see it as just another art form like makeup.
You guys know I'm definitely the self-proclaimed queen of Facetune. Let's be real, I am very good at it. And if you guys see me on Instagram, you would know that a sister loves a good tune. I just really love photo editing. And in my opinion, as long as you're not editing makeup actually on, photo editing and retouching is just as much of an art as actual makeup itself.
But personally, I have to disagree. I think that people who use Facetune perceive it to be a lot more harmless than it really is. Even if it's not harming you, it could still be harming a lot of other people. In my opinion, the normalization of Facetune or photoshopping is really problematic, and in today's video, we're gonna go ahead and dive into why that is.
Oh wow. Oh my god. Oh my god.
So I thought we would go ahead and start by briefly looking at some examples of some celebrities or influencers who have been caught face-tuning their photos. So this is a really popular one that has been circling around for a while, and it is a photo of the YouTuber Tana Mojo. She has been caught for face-tuning her photos multiple times. She doesn't often deny it. She's sometimes even mentioned that she does face-tune her photos or joke about it. But if she does, honestly, I hope she realizes how much she's doing it, because if you haven't seen this photo, brace yourselves because it will shake you. Alrighty, so this is the photo that Tana posted on Instagram with her friend. Very tiny waist and just looks super slim. And then this is a screenshot from a YouTube video she was in on that same day.
I don't understand how hard it was for me to keep a secret for that long.
Congratulations!
As you can see, her body looks completely different to the Facetune version. And now I know there are certain things that can affect a photo, such as your makeup, lighting, angles, whatever.
So I just want to show you how easily most models go from having some rolls to posing in a way that makes them look like they have a flat stomach. So for example, here I am, this is how everybody sits. We have some rolls, but if I pose, I now miraculously have a flat stomach. And also with lighting, I can have visible abs, I can have a much smaller waist, and that is all with angles and posing.
And obviously you can play your angles to your advantage, which she obviously has done, but no way did she not Photoshop this photo. Now, not all people who have been caught face-tuning their photos have done it to this extent as Tana. Some people do try to be a little bit more subtle, but you can still catch them out on it. Here is Alexis Ren, who is a really popular Instagram model, and this is the actual photo of her, which was posted on the photographer's page. And then this is the Facetune version. As you can see, she has made her waist a lot smaller than it was in the other picture. I don't even know why, because this just doesn't look real to me. Like, you can clearly tell it's fake, like no one looks like that. Even super mainstream celebrities have been caught doing this. As you can see, here is a picture of Rita Ora from Getty Images, and then here's a picture that she posted. As you can see, she completely just shrunk her entire body. I don't understand why, because she looked absolutely beautiful in the first picture. There's this Instagram model named Anastasia, I cannot pronounce her last name, who has been caught face-tuning a ton, and she is like Tana, who does it to the absolute extreme. As you can see, here is the Facetune version of her and the unfacetune version. As you can see, there is a massive difference. She looks great in either pic, it's just that one is real and one is fake. And you'll find that's quite common in a lot of these pictures, as a lot of these people will look fine before they edit their pictures, but then they just have to go ahead and edit the absolute crap out of their photos until in some cases they look like a completely different person, like in this case. And sometimes you can also go ahead and catch them out, because they'll be little things that you may notice, like there could be dents in the wall, or there could be dents in the table, or if you're really not that smart, then your shadow will go ahead and give you away. Now, I think the reason a lot of these celebrities and influencers are photoshopping their pictures, even though they look fine in the before version, is because of the ideal body type in our society at the moment.
After decades of women attempting to look thin, they finally began embracing curves again. In the past 10 years, we've seen curvier ladies on our magazine covers and our television screens. However, body image issues are still very real and present in today's society. This might explain the surge in popularity of plastic surgery.
Now you'll notice that a lot of these people who are editing their photos are doing similar things. They're making their hips wider, their butt bigger, their waist smaller, and this is all due to the ideal body type. And not everyone can keep up with the ideal body type changing, and this leads to people having a lot of insecurities and people fixing those insecurities with photoshopping apps like Facetune. Now I feel like this is a whole nother discussion, but the topic of society's ideal body type is a really interesting one because it changes so rapidly. It's insane to me that people actually go ahead and get plastic surgery to resemble this ideal body type when the ideal body type is changing so much. For example, when I was younger, back in around 2008, 2010, the ideal body type was to be quite slim. Whereas nowadays, it's ideal to be slim thick. Bigger butts, wider hips, big boobs, smaller waist, all that stuff. Now, me and my older sister were all blessed, for lack of a better word, with big butts, which is purely just genetics. None of us work out to achieve that. Obviously, none of us has had surgery. And I know some people might consider us to be lucky or whatever, but it was not always a blessing. When I was younger, I actually used to get made fun of for having a big butt. I absolutely hated my butt. It was such a massive insecurity of mine. I would even pretend to be sick so I didn't have to swim at school. It was just such a mess, which is so crazy to me to think how insecure I was of my butt back then, when now I get complimented on my butt all the time and I love my butt. And it's the same thing with lips. I'm not saying people ever used to like get made fun of for having big lips, but I just don't feel like lips were that big of a topic back in the day. And now I feel like everybody will not shut up about having big lips. It's just interesting to me to observe how the ideal body type is always changing so rapidly and the things that people do and celebrities do mainly to keep up with that. However, not everyone has the time to work out or the money to get plastic surgery to achieve their ideal body type, so a lot of people just resort to the easy fix, which is photoshopping or face tuning their photos. Except the thing is, people aren't actually obtaining this ideal body type in real life. It's fake and it's a facade. And honestly, looking at photos of your body looking one way and then looking at it in real life a different way can honestly cause a whole host of mental issues. When you're constantly editing pictures of your body and your face and changing the way you look, it can lead to people having so many insecurities and feeling horrible about their bodies in real life. And this can lead to unhealthy eating habits, body dysmorphia, and would often lead people to try to get plastic surgery to get this body type permanently. But then my whole thing is like, what happens if this body type changes? I'm not saying big butts are gonna go away, because I don't think they will, but say they do, then now you spend all this money on a big ass and it's like, well, what are you gonna do? Like, get it removed? I just feel like it's not sustainable to try and keep up with the ideal body type. I think it's just a lot easier if people just accept the body that they have, and I do know that's easier said than done, but accepting the body you have rather than trying to conform to the ideal body types is just gonna lead you to be a lot happier, because you're never gonna be the perfect ideal body type.
Lately, there are a lot of people out there who advertise having a larger butt or larger breasts and then a tiny skinny waist.
I know a term nowadays is slim thick, so even if some parts of you are slim, other parts of you have to be full. And, you know, it has to be a good balance.
My whole point with the excessive use of Facetune is that it's a much bigger issue than just on social media. It goes beyond that and affects people in real life, and not just the person photoshopping their photos, but it affects the people viewing the photo. Now, when it comes to the individual themselves Facetuning their own photos, that may or may not negatively affect them, but it definitely affects others. When we're sitting on our phone scrolling through social media apps like Instagram, we don't put a lot of thought into the photos that we're viewing. We kind of just take them for face value. We're not looking at the photos thinking things like, oh, you know, maybe there's a possibility that this person might have Facetuned those photos. We just take it for what it is. When you're constantly seeing this ideal body type on social media, which is often created through Facetune, and you don't have it, it can lead to a lot of people feeling some type of way about it. Now, a lot of these celebrities and influencers will deny that they photoshopped their photos, but we see the warped walls, the blurred lines, and the unedited versions of it. However, there are a few, like James Charles, who are open about the fact that they Facetune their photos. And I guess it's kind of good that he's being honest about it, but it would also be kind of weird if he wasn't, because we see his unedited nose in his videos, which is 3 times bigger than his Facetuned one. Now, when it comes to what we deem an acceptable amount of editing to go into a photo, it varies from person to person. Like for me, for example, when I edit my photos, I do put a filter on it or up the brightness or the saturation, all that type of stuff. But when it comes to my actual appearance, I will go ahead and remove some pimples if they have them. If my under eyes are really dark, I will go ahead and lighten them up. Now, you may think that's an issue, okay? But for me personally, those are all temporary things. Blemishes come and go. Under eye bags are worse on some days and better on others. I myself am personally okay with removing having temporary issues with your face. But when it comes to actually altering the bone structure of your face and the bone structure of your body, that's where I personally take issue with it. You may be different to me. It all is just a matter of opinion. But when it comes to people actually warping and reshaping their body in these photos, then they're posting it on social media and are being praised or are being envied for these bodies that they don't even have. And these celebrities and influencers who are photoshopping these photos are just perpetuating this idea of the one ideal perfect body type. Now, I know some people may argue that if somebody wants to photoshop their photo, it's their business, and I guess that's technically correct, but I really don't agree with that. As influencers, these people have influence over their impressionable fans who are feeling inferior because of a photo that isn't even real. Besides, I'm really curious as to when these people draw the line as to how much they Facetune their photos. Like, how far apart is your Instagram version of yourself and your IRL version of yourself? Because if somebody sees you in real life and you don't look like your Instagram pictures, that's really, really embarrassing. A lot of these influencers are caught and exposed for the catfish they are, which is why Instagram accounts like these exist, where they show you unedited versions of these celebrities and influencers. And I personally don't view these accounts as hateful. I just think they show you the truth. I feel like we shouldn't look at these influencers and look at their bodies and think, wow, like that's amazing, that's so perfect, like why don't I look like that, and whatever, because in a lot of instances, they're face-tuning their photos. Or how I mentioned in my previous video about how social media affects our mental health, a lot of these influencers and celebrities have other means of achieving this body, like personal trainers, diet plans, the time to work out, the money, blah, 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 blah. I guess all of these videos that I make about social media just comes down to the same thing of don't compare yourself or your situation to somebody else. Everybody's life is different. That was deep. Now, something else that I find very, very interesting is the lack of diversity on Instagram at the moment. And I totally feel like Facetune, along with some other factors like plastic surgery and makeup, have a massive influence on this. It seems like most influencers these days are almost a carbon copy of one another. They all have tan skin, big lips, wide hips, tiny waist, big butts, and they all essentially are starting to kind of look the same. And this is what happens when people are perpetuating and feeding in to society's ideal body type. Everybody say it with me. Stop perpetuating into society's ideal body type. I'm sweating so much right now.
Girls think that there's only one standard of beauty, then they'll feel left out if people like them are included in that dialogue. So if there's more representation, then you won't feel like that need to have to change yourself in order to conform to society's beauty standards.
And when all these influencers look the same and there's not enough diversity, that's when there's a lack of representation and people feel as though they don't have anybody else to relate to. And representation is really important, because if we see somebody who looks like us and is proud of the way that they look and happy about the way that they look, then it almost makes us feel better about the way we look. And I'm not saying it's the celebrities or influencers' responsibility to make us feel good about ourselves, but at the end of the day, there are a lot of people's role models and they do look up to them, and I feel like they should know that. And I feel like that's kind of the message I want to end this video off on today. Instead of editing ourselves to fit the ideal body type, I feel as though we should all just embrace our bodies and embrace who we are naturally. And not only will it help us love ourselves, but I feel like it will create a diverse community so that everybody has somebody to relate to, and so that everybody feels good about the way that they look, because we are all beautiful in our own ways, and embracing our differences is a beautiful thing. But anyway guys, that is the end of the video. To make a long story short, just appreciate yourself, don't compare yourself to others, don't take people's photos for face value, realize there could have been a lot that went into that photo, and just don't compare yourself. Honestly, I barely even go on Instagram anymore, because when I go on Instagram, I just look at hot people and it makes me feel like shit about myself, and at the end of the day, I don't want to do that. That's why I just stay on Twitter where all the memes are at. And yeah, just embrace yourself, embrace your body. We're all different. That's what makes the world a beautiful place. Okay, that is the end of this video, guys. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and comment down below what you thought of it. If you want to go ahead and check out my other video critiques, I'll go ahead and link them down below. And please make sure to go ahead and comment your thoughts down below. I'm really interested to hear what you guys have to say. If you have not already, please make sure you subscribe and turn on the post notifications bell so that you never miss another upload from me. And yeah, guys, that's it for me in this video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in my next one, and I hope that you have a great day or night wherever you're in the world. Bye!